Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is doing well. Thanks for sticking around. Right before we get into the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. If you enjoy non-biased, no-nonsense election content and analysis. Okay, so let's get to the topic of this video. Today we will be reviewing over the best case scenario for the Democrats senatorially at the U.S. Senate level for the 2026 midterms. I am keeping in mind that in a normal environment, they should at least be somewhat modestly favored, just because they're the party out of power, and that's usually how historical trends go. Especially true for the U.S. House, not as much for the Senate, but it still can tell the direction. A lot of winnable seats for the party in power, they kind of lose because they just don't have the momentum to win it. That's probably how it's going to be in a normal environment, um, just because of the historical data and whatnot. But this video is taking into account if there's a big blue wave, like a blue tsunami, as people like to call it. How would the Democrats do if they had like the best case scenario? I don't really do these videos that often, but this video we're definitely going to be going over what states would be going. What if the Democrats had a very good night? We'll start off with the safe Democratic states. Would be Oregon, Colorado, New Mexico. Minnesota would be safe. Illinois would be safe. Virginia, Delaware, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire would be safe Democratic as well. And that is probably about it. Maine would absolutely go safe Democrat, but just because Republicans are running an incumbent, we would assume that Susan Collins goes down by around 8 or 9 points, because Maine would just go back to its regular voting record habits. But I would just leave it as likely just now. Those would be all the safe states. A lot of them are borderline, but these will undoubtedly be safe in a Democrat environment. When I move on to safe Republican states, they become less common. Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota. What else we got? Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and that is about it. Those are all of the safe Republican states. These states really shouldn't be any competitive in what case, unless a third party candidate gets in and changes things up, kind of like what's happening in Nebraska. I can't really see them become competitive really at all. That's just basically how I see it currently. Now we have likely states. Now this is where it gets interesting because you have a lot of toss-up states like Michigan. You have Maine, North Carolina, Georgia. These would all become likely Democrat wins. So at least 5 points, between 5 and 9 points, you'd see likely Democratic wins. In Michigan, North Carolina, Roy Cooper win by over 5, and John Ossoff the incumbent, would win by over 5. You'd also see Maine, as I mentioned earlier, Susan Collins would go down by around 6 points, or be careful with how I word myself. A point above 6 points. That's probably how Maine would probably vote. You'd see a lot of these toss-up states really not be competitive at all. You would see some Democratic wins up here. Likely Republican states. There's a few of those. We'd have Montana. There is a. I'm not sure if a Democrat even made it to the ballot. I think it did. There might be a third-party candidate running. I'm not sure, but it did elect John Tester. He's not running, but it does show willingness to at least be competitive some of the time. So Montana would be likely as well. Mississippi, this is very borderline. You had a special election here for senator one time, and it was under 10. I think one of their two senators isn't as electable as the other. I forget which one, but this would probably be just barely under 10, to be 9 points. Same with South Carolina. It was even over 10, even when Lindsey Graham faced a strong candidate in 2020, which was a blue year. But we're assuming the Democrats do really well in this scenario, best case scenario, that the Dems would just make this state just barely under 10. So it'd be a likely Republican win in South Carolina. That's probably about it for the likely. I would also probably have to throw in Florida as well. I really can't see it getting lean. I just think that Republicans have done well enough here to not really, for the Democrats to really not make it competitive. I just really don't think it's happened. Even in the best case Republican scenario, I'd be saying the same thing about Colorado. I can't really see it going lean Democratic. It'd probably be likely at best, just because Democrats have made this state so liberal. Republicans have made Florida so conservative. I really just don't see it getting below 5. Probably, if Democrats are doing well, they probably get it around 6 points. But that's probably as good as I can see it. Florida is just trying to really far to the right in recent years, and especially since they have an incumbent running who's appointed by DeSantis, who Ashley Moody, she was the attorney general, so she's got name recognition. She's probably going to win um, by around like probably 12 or 13 in a normal environment, but this would definitely be likely in this case scenario. Let's move on to the lean states where it really be start to get really competitive. Texas would probably be lean. It'd probably be only around like a 2-3 point victory for whoever it is. I'm not really comfortable with being tilt yet, especially because we don't know who the nominee is. We'll have to see if Democrats do well. You would see their nominee, James Talarico, gain momentum, and Republicans probably nominating Ken Paxton. If I assume he doesn't run a good campaign, you would see this race become competitive. I really just don't see Texas flipping because it really hasn't, and it's still reliably a Republican state. I just don't think it is. You might see some reversion in South Texas, but I really think that it would still be a Republican win, even in the best case scenario for the Dems. But I think Republicans would still have to spend a lot of money here to keep it from flipping. That's probably about it. Two lean states, probably be Nebraska and Iowa. I really don't know about Nebraska. It's really hard to say. It's a very quirky race. Apparently now you have a Democrat just getting in the election to in the mix. It was really just going to be the independent candidate and Republican Senator Pete Ricketts, but now a Democrat entered the race last minute, so that might really hurt the independents' chances of really making this race competitive at all. This probably is going to be likely. Best case scenario, I just don't see Nebraska. I mean, it's like an R+20 state. I really don't see it becoming leans with that news. But we would assume if Democrats just do really well, you could see it become lean. That's probably what I would do. Same with Iowa. You would think the governor's race in the best case scenario for the Democrats would flip, but I don't see it at the Senate level. I just think it's more polarizing at the Senate level. And you also have Republicans are running a well-known congresswoman from a competitive part of the state up here. So I think it'd probably be only like a 2-point win. In Iowa, be only leans Republican. This is probably it. And then you'd have lean Democrat states. Start with Alaska. Really hard to say, but polling does show Peltola doing pretty well against Sullivan. If the Democrats do really well, you probably see this state flip by about 1 point. It's probably what you would end up seeing happen. Will it? Really hard to say, but if Democrats do well in 2026, then that certainly would flip if the stars align. And we have one more state, which is tilt, which would be tilt Democrat, would be Ohio. Again, very borderline. Ohio has moved to the right a lot, but Democrats are doing should be doing well this year. If they have a really, really blue wave, they would probably have the momentum just enough to turn the state just narrowly blue, since they are running Sherrod Brown. Do I think it's going to happen? Normally, probably not. But in the best case scenario for the Democrats, they would definitely probably flip this just very narrowly. John Husted would narrowly go down. Democrats would win the Senate 51-49. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Do you think the map is going to look like this? Do you think it's going to be more neutral? Do you think Democrats are going to have a blue wave like this map shows? Let me know down in the comments. Again, appreciate you guys watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.